Hi everyone, welcome to Readings with Sam. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated on all the amazing energies flowing through this channel, as well as feel free to leave a comment because I love hearing from you guys and what's coming up for you, what's resonating, and always remember that even though I read on daily energies, even if you're watching this a year from now, a month from now, or a week from now, you are watching this because you're most ready to receive it. And with that, take what resonates and leave the rest. These readings are just for your highest benefit. So if something is not resonating, it's all good. It just means it's meant for someone else. So today is Friday, August 12th, 2022. It was just a full moon yesterday, and you're probably actually going to be feeling the energies like really strongly today since it was a full moon night last night. And today, the deck that wanted to speak to us is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Krans. So I love the animal spirits so much, especially right after a full moon. I'm very curious to see what the energies are, especially because yesterday's reading was really intense about entering into the void and entering into the deep, spacious self. So let's get into it. Some of you are probably going to have an animal spirit come out for you today. Very exciting. Okay, so let's get into the reading today. So the energy overall is hyena energy. So already if hyenas have been showing up for you lately, then this message is particularly for you. The whole thing with hyenas, and a really big quality of hyenas is that they laugh. That's the whole, that's their call, you know, so they're very tied to laughter and sarcasm, and also too, since hyenas kind of are associated with death and decay and a little bit like that, and also an interesting aspect about hyenas, and it's actually a matriarchal species, so in a very interesting way, hyenas really do encompass that chaotic, feminine energy. Really, when this energy comes up, it's a time to really make sure that you are not playing yourself by purposely not taking yourself seriously, or by using sarcasm, humor, or laughter as a way to deflect and suppress real emotions that are going on. So as we all know, like, laughter really is the best medicine. It truly is. Like, for me, going through my own trauma and going through a really dark time in my life, I remember using humor a lot to deflect from what was really going on because it was simply just too painful to actually look at. However, that is what happens when we joke about our suffering too much and use it as a way to deflect, is we aren't actually dealing with it. We're just making jokes about it and being like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, and ha ha ha, and whatever. But we're not letting ourselves feel what's really going on. And the issue with not allowing ourselves to feel what's going on is that those emotions stay unprocessed. And when emotions stay unprocessed, they're just stuck, like going around in your brain, and it's very difficult to move forward with that. Because also with hyena energy, it also represents a time where you may not be taking yourself seriously, and it's actually causing you to not go after your goals because you don't take yourself seriously enough to even commit to yourself, you know? And that's kind of how I'm gonna go into the advice. The advice is hummingbird energy. Look at the difference of the cards. This is black and white, it's very gray, it's kind of bleak. It's like, even though it's about laughter, it's like dark humor, it's like dark comedy, or it's almost like how in old movies or in old films, they would do a lot of violence in black and white because it was believed that if it wasn't shown in color, it wouldn't come across as violent, right? So it's kind of the same thing, is that you may be living in this space where it seems on the surface things are fun and light and whatever, but in truth, you're not living in color, because if you were to really turn on all of the colors and really look at the truth of the situation, it would be too painful. But with Hummingbird here, it's actually saying that this is a time where you actually have the capacity to look at it, especially because yesterday, right, it was all about, why are you afraid of yourself? What is it about you that you are afraid of to the point where you don't even want to spend time alone by yourself? You know what I mean? It's kind of the same thing where this may be the reason. It may be because you have realized that you're using humor, again, to suppress emotions that you may not have really looked at, right? Also with hyena energy and hummingbird energy, take yourself seriously. That's kind of the first message that I got from this was make sure you're not playing yourself, okay? A lot of the times we ask, why are we not farther in life? And it's like, well, you don't think that you can make it, so why do you think other people are going to see that, Why do we want other people to take us seriously when we don't even take ourselves seriously? Like we when we're alone, we may say like, oh, I really want this thing, or I really want that, or I really want this. But then when we're like talking in person about it, we may be like, oh yeah, like I'm thinking about this, but I don't know, it's kind of a stupid idea. And it's like, no, don't say that though. Is it a stupid idea? And that's kind of the other thing too, is really make sure that you're not dreaming up these like amazing goals and ideas and then telling yourself, oh, like, I can't do that. Like, that's for people that, like, are disciplined. Or, like, that's for people that, like, whatever. Whatever it is, make sure that you are not downplaying yourself. And we had this message for all of August. Don't play yourself. Because, again, with hummingbird energy, hummingbirds, they can fly in every single direction. They're, like, the only bird that can do that. So it's also saying that if you feel stuck right now because of this, if you're hearing this and it just feels really hard, know that you can go in any direction that you want right now, but just know that if certain things aren't actualizing and there's certain things that just don't feel like you're fully living in color, it's because you're not really looking at the truth of the situation. You're not allowing yourself to feel. You're not allowing yourself to live. When we suppress our emotions, even when it's something really negative and deep and scary, it doesn't matter if we slowly end up not truly living life. Because nobody said that life was all about peace and happiness. Life is about both death and life. That's why death is a part of life and life is a part of death, right? So it's kind of saying the same thing. I think that's also why on this card, it's the dualistic half moon, right? During first quarter, it's all about, okay, I just manifested these things. Now because I thought about all these goals, now I have to take action. Now if this is third quarter, right, and we're going into third quarter, this is, okay, I've been doing all these things. Now let me stop and assess and see if I need to change anything moving forward. Hyena energy is all about stop for a second and really be sure that you are not ignoring anything going on inside of you because it's too hard. Because again, with the advice with Hummingbird is that you have the spiritual resources to deal with it. You have the resources to deal with it. You have the wisdom to deal with it. It might also mean that something that you truly were not able to handle maybe a year ago, you can actually handle now. And this is confirmation of it. And know that by going in and handling it, you'll be able to live more in full color. You'll be able to actually live your life. There's a lot of that going on right now. Also, okay, so also too, my nose has been itching this whole time. And I thought it was just allergies, but I think it's this, that both of these animals can sniff out their next source of food. Okay? Both of these animals can sniff out their own source of food. And the thing with sniffing things out is you can't see it yet. Okay? It's another sense. Use all your senses to figure out where you got to go next. But also, too, just because you can't see something, but you're sensing it in another way, don't invalidate this just because you usually trust this. And what I'm saying with the hummingbird, because I'm staring more at hummingbird than hyena on this, is that hummingbirds, they have that long beak because they know exactly where they need to go for nectar. And they can sniff that out. So it's same thing, right? Instead of sniffing things out for decomposing things that are already dead, sniff things out that are actually going to give you life. All right? So overall, the energy today is basically one of two things. If you feel like you're playing yourself, like if you're just not taking yourself seriously, like you're not taking your goals seriously, you're not taking your life seriously, you don't take yourself seriously, this is a time it's like, why? Like, who is that helping? Like why? Like, just why? Because you have the spiritual resources to actually move forward, and you can go in any other direction that you want. You can do anything that you want, and you need to see this to start taking yourself seriously so you can actually start living your life. Because the more that you keep not taking certain things seriously in your life, the more that thing is not going to come into fruition, and the less you're going to feel like you're actually living on purpose. The other meaning, of course, is if you are sarcastic, The other meaning, of course, is if you use humor and sarcasm a lot to hide and to deflect from your own trauma and own difficult emotions, okay? Because the more that you do that, the more you're also not tapping into the gold that's in those emotions and the lessons that are in those emotions, and it all just is left unprocessed. So again, you are ready to actually start diving into this because you have hummingbird energy, because you have the spiritual resources, because now you have more than just your intellect to have to deal with this. You have all kinds of resources, all kinds of senses. You can sniff things out that are actually going to give you life. But overall, the overall really, really key point on this, though, is the advice is go after things that give you life today. And stop feeding things that just make everything look like it's black and white. Life is filled with all kinds of colors and experiences and diversity. Okay? That's not a bad thing. Right? Again, no one said life was supposed to just be this one way, and if it's not that way, then it's not good. Life is all of these things put together. And the faster you get to the point of accepting that reality, the faster you're going to really appreciate all of these spectrums, right? Because look at the picture. Look at all these spectrums of colors, right? We're all on a spectrum. You know, it's true. Nothing in life is just black and white. Even in this, look at this. It's not even all black and white. There's some gray. So with that, I hope you all have a beautiful day today. And I'll see you all tomorrow.